An Argentine police official began the first fingerprint files based on Galton pattern types. At first, he included the Bertillon system within the files. He made the first criminal fingerprint identification in 1892. He was able to identify Francisca Rojas, or Francis Rojas, as he is also called, a woman who murdered her two sons and cut her own throat in an attempt to place the blame on another. Her bloody print was left on a doorpost, proving her identity as the murderer. Sino ang Argentine policeman? Siya ay si Juan Bucetich. So move to number 19. An author who related a murderer who was identified by the use of the fingerprint identification in his book, Life on the Mississippi, si Mark Twain. Long before na ginamit ang fingerprint, parang may si Mark Twain ba na magamit pala ang fingerprint identification sa kanyang fictional book, Life on the Mississippi. Number 20. Unending ridge of any length rising at a sufficient degree from the horizontal plane. That is 45 degrees or more. Ito ang pinaka-word niya. Ang sinasabi dito, unending ridge. Isa lang na ridge. So, let us suppose meron tayong ganyan na formation, and then there is unending ridge. So, anong tawag natin dyan? That is known as upthrust. So, ang degree of angle sa upthrust is 45 degrees or more. Tandaan natin ang sa angular tented arch, the degree of angle is 90 degrees or less. Number 21. An impression of the friction ridge of all or any part of the finger that is known as fingerprint. So, ang fingerprint pala ay impression. So, pag sinabing impression, mali pala ang sinasabi natin na kung tingnan natin ang fingers natin, tingnan natin ang fingerprint doon sa finger natin, mali yan. Because ang fingerprint is an impression. Marka mula nung diin ang kamay doon sa surface. Mag-iwan yan ng marka. That is known as impression. So you do not call the pattern found on your fingers as fingerprint. Rather, the pattern found on the surface being pressed by the fingers as fingerprint. 22. Are never formed by a single ridge, but by the abutting of one ridge against another. Kung merong isang ridge diyan at saka may ridge ganyan, there is abutment. That is known as angle. There is what we call as meeting, nagtagpo of two ridges. So, number 23. A condition before fragments and dots are counted. Bago natin masabi na ang fragments at saka dots can be counted, what is the rule to remember? Nasabi ko na yan kanina, they must be thick and heavy as other ridges. Therefore, letter B is our answer. So you do not outrightly consider fragments and dots as ridges because it may just be a dirt. So for it to be considered as a ridge, it must be thick. Dapat makapal siya. Pag hindi siya makapal, then hindi siya matawag na ridge. Disregard natin ang fragment na yan at saka that. 24. Consists of at least one recurving ridge or an obstruction at right angles to the line of flow with two deltas between which, when an imaginary line is drawn, no recurving ridge within the inner pattern area is cut or touched. Ito mali na to. At saka ito. ang choice is between central packet loop world at saka plain world. Ang pinaka-memory aid natin dito ay yung touch or cut. Whether ang imaginary line ay mag-touch or mag-cut. Pag ang we have to consider this one as positive and negative. Pag ding makat, yes, it can be touch or cut. Or hindi siya makat. Depende, no? So, ang pinaka-memory aid natin ay yung cut or touch. Pag pwedeng makat or touch, then we are talking of plain world. Pag hindi pwedeng touch or cut, that is known as central packet loop world. It consists of at least one recurving ridge or an obstruction at right angles to the line of flow, with two deltas between which, when an imaginary line is drawn, no, negative yan. Recurving ridge within the inner pattern area is cut or touch. Answer is letter A, central packet loop world. Because ang point of difference between plain and central, sa nasabi natin, yung concept of touch at saka cut. Sa plain world, ma-cut or touch. Central packet loop world, no recurving ridge within the inner pattern area is cut or touch. 25 consists of the simplest form of word construction and is the most common of the word divisions. Pinaka-common. It is designated by the symbol W for both general classification and extension purposes. That is known as what? That is what we call as plain word. So, pinaka-common.